welcome to our meditation time. So whatever spot that you've chosen for yourself, just really settle into it. Just think about the fact that you chose this spot. You chose this moment. And begin to just notice of your breath and realize that everything is as it should be. The place that you've chosen, the moment that we are a part of, and this beautiful breath coming in and going out. And just really allow yourself to settle, letting this physical, this energetic settling be a way to pull apart from the busyness of the day, the busyness of the life. Just really give yourself a chance to just be still. And as you're breathing, begin to notice. Notice the thoughts in your mind. Notice the sensations in your body. And then again, notice the breath coming in and going out. Our inspiration for these few minutes that we have today comes from one of the Yoga Sutras, one of the very last ones that this great ancient author wrote. These teachings about how yoga informs so many parts of our lives. And what he wrote in this particular one, in book number 4, he compared the practice of yoga to the practices of the farmers. And so just imagine, if you can picture in your mind's eye as you're just seated nice and still and quiet, just picture before we had technology and irrigation systems, farmers still needed their crops to be watered. They couldn't always rely on rainfall. Otherwise, their harvest may not produce what they were hoping that it would produce for their families, for their communities. And so they had to get creative. They had to use the resources that they had to bring water to the fields and to the crops. And so they would configure these passageways, these dike systems where they could actually route water from wherever the water source was and get it to those crops. And so just imagine the imagination, the innovation they had to have to think, how do I bring the water from so far away to the place where I'm trying to grow these crops for my family and for my community? And so they utilized the resource, they utilized the sense of imagination and innovation that they had. And they created systems where their crops could thrive, where their lives as farmers could thrive as well. And when Patanjali wrote this particular Yoga Sutra, he talked about that example. And he said, we are like the farmers. We have these passageways, if you will, all throughout us. These passageways that are available to move the energy through our body. But we've got to open up our minds and be willing to do it. We tend to look outward into the world and we blame the world, or we get frustrated by the world or by the people in it because we feel like our energy is being used in ways that are not good. We're being depleted. We're being challenged. Life is hard sometimes. But what Patanjali says in this Yoga Sutra is we are the farmers. And our entire being is like that field. And you have this resource of energy. We call this prana. This beautiful prana that wants to move through your body, through your organs, through your cells, in nourishing, vibrant ways. But you've gotten a little stuck. You've forgotten that you've got this beautiful resource to draw from. Or you've forgotten how to use it. And so he says, let the energy flow as freely as the water flowed from the lake, from the river, out to the farmland. And use your breath as the vehicle to do it. The same way that the farmers used their imagination to build these systems for the water to flow with purpose and intention and direction. Patanjali told us 2,500 years ago, use your breath to move the energy through your body in the same way. And then life will still be challenging. And people will still have things that they put in our path that might be frustrating or difficult. But your entire being will be filled with nourishment and vibrancy in a way that you cannot even imagine. You've just got to tap into your resource. And so as we sit right where we are, just allow yourself just to grow a little taller, and we're going to try to use the breath to begin to move this energy, this beautiful prana, the Chinese call it the qi, to begin to move it through our body, nourishing us in the same way that that water nourished the fields for the farmers. So just kind of notice how you feel in this moment. And then we're going to see if we can't tap into that resource and bring that energy and begin to nourish ourselves with it. And so as we begin this part of our practice, I encourage you, think of something in your life right now that's difficult, a situation that's has you puzzled or frustrated. But there's a challenge there, whatever it is, just think of that, whatever's going on in your life currently. And as you recall what that thing is, sit up nice and tall and take a deep breath in until you feel like you can't hold any more air in your lungs. Breathe it in right here. And as you keep your lips sealed, as slowly as you can, exhale through your nose. And then continue to see that challenge, whatever it is. Let's breathe in again. Recognize what the thing is that's puzzling you, causing you heartache. Keep breathing in. And then again, as slowly and as gently as you can, exhale through your nose. And then breathe in again. And as slowly and gently as possible, exhale through your nose. And then this next time, as you breathe in, imagine the mind that you have, the hands that you have, the imagination that you have. And as you breathe out, just see that energy going to all those places, across your mind, over your hands, into your imagination. Breathe in again. Fill yourself up. All the nourishment of that breath so that as you breathe out, allow it to go where it needs to go. Over your thoughts, your hands, your imagination. Just take a couple more breaths just like that. Moving the prana just like the farmers moved the water. And then I would invite us each to picture something in our mind that maybe we're a little worried about. Something that's causing us pause or hesitation or concern. Maybe there's something unknown in your life. Maybe there's something that is known and there's concern around that. But just see something that's causing you just a little bit of angst. A little bit of worry. There's nothing wrong with you that you feel that way. But I want us to use that same resource, that same pool of water that the farmers drew from. Let's use that same energy and see if we can't shift that just a bit. So again, sitting nice and tall, take a deep, full breath in. The full capacity as you can breathe. And then again, with the lips sealed, slowly exhale through your nose. And then breathe in again. and slowly out through the nose. And this time as you breathe in, just take it all in, nourishing yourself, so that as you begin to breathe out when you are ready, imagine that breath sending your energy down deep into your abdomen, almost coating it with this sense of peace and calm and ease. And then breathe in again, full capacity of this breath. And this time as you breathe out, imagine that prana moving right across your heart. Just like with your belly, almost coating it with this sense of peace and calm and ease. And breathe in again, a full breath. And when you're ready to breathe out, this time imagine that prana going right across your forehead, softening those lines of worry, softening the thoughts about it. And then just settle into a rhythm of breath here that feels good. And I recognize, as did Patanjali, that in 5 or 6 breaths, we don't get rid of the things that we worry about. We don't get rid of the things that are troubling us and causing us frustration. But we do begin to shift how we navigate those things. This breath was not intended to be just an exchange of gases between us and nature. It is intended to be this vehicle, just like those dike systems that the farmers constructed, to pull the resources in where we need them and send the nourishment out. The farmers did it with water. We do it with prana. The same ocean air that moves the waves is inside of us, waiting to move the worry, to lessen the anxiety, and over time begin to dissolve the frustrations that we deal with every day. So just take a few more breaths here and settle into just quiet and just notice if there's any amount of shift. Continue to breathe slowly on that exhale, like you are just imagining that prana just bathing every part of you, from the fingertips to the feet, over the forehead, wrapping around your heart. And we'll each just pause here quietly in our own space, continuing to breathe, drawing in that resource, one breath at a time. Begin to bring your awareness back to this next breath coming in. And then follow the next breath going out. And again, I know that across just a few moments of breath and a few moments of meditation, our problems don't completely disappear. But the more that we practice, the more equipped we are to navigate them. To navigate them with peace and with clarity and with a sense of ease within us. The problems are still hard, but we've got a resource to draw from. We just have to remember to use it. When you encounter something tomorrow and in the days to come, just remind yourself, I am the farmer. There's a lake just down the road, and I know I can get this water to my field. And lucky for us, that resource is within. We've just got to remember to access it. Namaste.